Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am filming from a different location than usual. I am out of town on a little vacation, so no cats, but we still have some content for you all and a Scroll Cup team. This is a meta I played a little bit of, and I think it's actually really solid. The team I ran is a Toxapex with a Guzzlord safe swap and a Chestnut in the back. It has a lot of play even to a lot of its counters. Guzzlord in general just feels super safe in this meta outside of the occasional charm users and fighters, but there's ways to play around it. I went a lot of positive sets with this team, so for those that don't want to play Master League, here is a more budget-friendly team for you all. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. I have two back-to-back sets, so let's get straight into the first set of battles. Mandibuzz lead. Obviously, Mandibuzz is not the worst for a Guzzlord, but you really don't want it on the Chestnut. Even the Snarl variant, the Aerial Ace is still double super effective, and you have to debuff yourself to do any meaningful damage. It's just better to stay in. I haven't seen a lot of Zumro, honestly, in this meta, but obviously you want the Toxapex to cover it, and Toxapex just has a lot of great neutral matchups as well, so personally speaking, I think it fit really well with the team. And then you can see here I'm actually going for a catch. Managed to get a Dragon Tail through as well, which is very high value. Eventually, it's not the worst case scenario to try to swap if you can. Generally, I stay in against Mandibuzz, but because it's Snarl, I could, eventually throw a move at it and do some decent damage. Blastoise used Ice Beam, which makes sense given this current meta, so definitely something worth shielding. And again, Guzzlord is just really safe, and you can see, right, like this is not a great matchup for them either, which means they just don't really have great Guzzlord answers. But that being said, Chestnut also has plenty of play into this Mandibuzz, so I'm not too worried about it here. And going to go for the superpower, knowing that they're mostly energy dry. Yeah, and then here comes a Morepeko, which also pretty strong in this meta, which why I really like Guzzlord and Chestnut, because they both have a ton of play into it. And even the Sludge Ray from Toxapex does a decent amount. But yeah, obviously this is a more neutral lead, but I will definitely showcase some more bad leads, and you can see kind of how we play out a bit of that. Annihilape, this is probably one of the hardest Pokemon to deal with, but they swap out right away, which makes life really easy for me, because then I could just go for this very aggressive farm down, something I really like a lot. I notice a lot of teams are actually quite weak to Chestnut, like even ABA weak to it, so just something to think about as you're team building. Obviously, Annihilape is a little bit more easier to deal with. Now they have so much energy, I could chip it down with Chestnut, even grab a shield. But typically, if they're just in the lead, it's a lot harder to deal with. And you'll see actual examples of that when they stay in. Obviously, this opponent has something in mind, so they're swapping out. But if I were to guess, they probably have a Gastrodon or something. Turns out to be more Morepeko, so we just hard counter. Oh yeah, we saw the Gastrodon earlier. So yeah, anyway, this is a very hard counter matchup outside of the lead. And you can see Guzzlord Cam doing Guzzlord things. But yeah, at this point, there's just no real shot they have here. Guzzlord, in my opinion, I think is probably the best Pokemon in this meta. Because even the Charmers, even the they're not really fairies. So it's like Brionne and Gallade. So it's actually not even that bad. And you can see here too, even these neutral matchups, not too bad. Able to misalign the clock here. They actually come in with a Skuntank, which is kind of interesting because it's not really a true Guzzlord counter, and as long as I flip switch advantage, I'm pretty good because I could absorb all that energy on my Chestnut, resists everything besides the body slam, and the body slam just doesn't do enough. And you can see Guzzlord just putting in a ton of work here. You can even grab shields off of Annihilape even, so that's actually quite nice too. I'm trying to do a bunch of damage here, and we could just Vine Whip down. Let's see what they have in the back, but either way, not really worth shielding here. Even if they have more Morepeko in the back, they can't really Thunder Shock you down, so it's going to be quite nice. Alright, they're going to just keep throwing their energy. Usually when they're doing this, it's a pretty good sign for me because it means that they don't have great answers in the back. And as you can see, it is more Morepeko, but we have such a huge energy lead at this point that there's just nothing they could do. And yeah. And again, a team that's ABA weak to Chestnut. If I let Chestnut there, I don't really know what their plan is. But they actually have C-Bomb. But either way, it doesn't matter. I have way too much energy. We just take it out right there. This is back-to-back sets, so no cherry pick battles, but I had a lot of positive sets with this, so I just chose two of the more interesting ones. Medicham is something you don't see super often in this meta, but again, fighters are pretty bad for the back. This is not nearly as bad as Annihilape in my opinion, just because of Annihilape's typing and stuff and how hard it hits, but it is still a little bit annoying for the back end. I didn't really like that I had the double shield here, excuse me, but they already boosted themselves, so I really just didn't want to be in that situation if I could avoid it. I don't know if this is the best swap, honestly, because Ice Beam does a lot. They, for some reason, are throwing Hydro Cannon here, which is very peculiar to me. They could have even gone Skull Bash, and Blastoise is arguably it is the cheapest Pokemon to unlock a second move with 10k. So I don't really know why they're not running Ice Beam. Ice Beam and Skull Bash, neither are Legacy, and they have 2 shields. Very weird. Either way, we'll take it. I'm not saying I played the best this particular game, but some weird plays by my opponent. Maybe he's just single move by accident. I don't know. Brianna is here. It does a lot of resisted damage, and the fact that Chestnut has solid still super effective play into it with the Vine Whips is nice. Okay, they are going to shield. And do we get to the Brine? Yeah, I do get the Brine. They're trying to go for the farm down, which unfortunately is a little bit greedy, but I get it because they haven't even seen my last Pokemon at that point. And here we could just finish off. So I got kind of lucky with the Blastoise, whatever happened there. I don't necessarily know if I played the Medicham lead matchup great, but most don't bait there, so I figured Psychic is a much more safer move to try to shield instead of a potential Power Punch. But as you can see here, the Guzzlord's not even bad into Annihilape. They're probably going to throw Rage Fist. I unfortunately couldn't get the move off, but I put it in a range where I could kind of more easily take it down. Now, Tentacruel is not even like the best thing to swap out of, but I just like to draw out the potential Annihilape, which is what we did. And I'm kind of in a weirder spot now because Tentacruel is actually pretty solid into Chestnut, but at least I have an energy lead. I draw out the Fighter, and because they're kind of strong into Chestnut in the lead and in the back, I'm hoping the third Pokemon is actually pretty weak to Chestnut. So we'll see if that's the case or not. But right now, I just really want to draw away a lot of this energy, chip it as much as I can. I would just want to put it in Frenzy Plant range, and so that's why I'm throwing Sludge Wave, because if I don't throw a Sludge Wave, I come in Chestnuts, they just double shield and I take way too much damage. But luckily, it's a Shadow Shift Tree, which again is very weak to Chestnut, unless they have Hurricane, which I am respecting, but they didn't have it. So that means I wall off all the moves. I'm still going to go for Superpower because going for the Frenzy Plant there and they no shield is pretty bad, in my opinion. But now I still have a shield advantage, and I could just go for this one Frenzy Plant to take this out. I could also pivot out and swap, but the problem is the game mechanics are not that reliable these days, so I personally don't know if I even lose a turn there or not. So if I could just throw it and know that I take it out, then I'm fine. 5-0 set to start things off, like I said. Very strong team. We saw some bad leads, some good leads, and either way, team has a lot of play. Some Charmers even. Just a Brion, I think. Air Slash Mandibuzz is much worse for my team. It's much stronger into both Guzzlord and, of course, Chestnut. So definitely something I'd like to stay in. I don't know if I swap out on this one or not. I don't think I do, because if they swap out their Mandibuzz, if I don't catch a move, all that stuff, I'm going to take a lot of fast attack pressure, and I can't really Vine Whip this thing down, so it's just not really worthwhile, in my opinion. So it's much better to go just to take this out as soon as possible. If they come in something else, like I'll just deal with it. Annihilape would probably be the worst case scenario, but then they'd be super ABA weak to Fairy, so it's less likely, but not impossible. All right, so Whiscash, and of course it's not Annihilape, it's actually the Toxapex. And this is pretty good for me because Toxapex is also pretty strong into Chestnut, so I just need to take this down as, like, weaken it as much as possible, right? Because anytime you see the Gastrodon, Chestnut just handles it so well that it doesn't matter if they have an energy lead, shield advantage, all that stuff. It just makes, you just have a really good matchup either way. And we get to multiple Dragon Claws. Like I said, Guzzlord just stupid busted in this meta. I think it's easily the best Pokemon. So highly recommend it, even if you don't opt to run this team. I think it's still really good to have on any team. All right, there's a chance that this thing has Blizzard, so I'm going to respect that. But they threw Scald. So even if they are running Blizzard Scald, then my Toxapex has a lot more play into it too. So it's not the end of the world if I end up getting hit by Blizzard. But based on the timing here, it's not. So I don't know what they're hoping what happened here. But unless I lag out, there's just no way I would lose this match. Either way, some people just play it out. I don't know. It is what it is. But That's going to be an easy 3-ball for us. Toxapex lead, something I like to generally stay in with for the most part. I sometimes like to swap out when they're in Frenzy Plant range, because then my Chestnut could deal with it more easily. And I also like to absorb the energy they throw, because if you swap in when they have a lot of energy, it's pretty annoying for the Guzzlord and obviously annoying for the Chestnut. I would never say, you pretty much never say swap Chestnut in general, because it's just not a great situation if they have an Air/Mandibuzz or something that kind of hard counters it more. So me personally, I think Guzzlord's always a better safe swap if you have the option to. All right, they're pretty low on energy at this point, so, and they're definitely in Frenzy Plant range, so I'm going to swap out. And this is again why you want to swap out. This is me goofing off here a bit. I completely forgot that Brionne is actually just a water type, but I think Sludge Bomb does more. I might be mistaken there. It probably does more than Stab, Dragon Claw. I'm not sure, but I just thought it was a fairy type, and then I completely realized that it wasn't. It's actually just pure water. So it was kind of early on when I did that. I'm just going to throw the brine just in case somebody tries to snipe me down with some fast attack. And then now I have the Chestnut. I believe this is brine, so I'm not even going to shield it. Yeah, because there's no way they even get to move. Oh, yeah, this is a bad one. Yeah, unfortunately, I just got hard counter here, right? Because they have the Brionne for the Guzzlord. They had the Buzzwole for the Chestnut. I think this would have been a hard match even if they came in Buzzwole into the Guzzlord. But they actually came in Brionne, which is even better for them, because Brionne could potentially lose to Chestnut if I land a Frenzy Plant. But yeah, either way, sometimes that happens. You know, you just get hard counter, you get hard counter. But I find that most of my losses in this cup are when I get hard countered, so it's not a super common occurrence. All right, safe swap Toxapex, kind of annoying. I am going to just chip it down as much as I can. The Primeape is pretty strong into my backline as well, so I definitely something I had to watch out for. I think I kind of panicked here a little bit because I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do. I let this go, but I probably should have shielded the potential Sludge Wave. Yeah, let's see what they come in with. I guess my thought was I don't really want to go down shields against Primeape, which I think is understandable. And then this should just be a brine, which I let go. Yeah. So I still have the Toxapex and a little bit of energy. Yeah, I don't get the Dragon Claw. If I got the Dragon Claw off, that would have been really nice, but unfortunately just didn't survive the Karate Chop. I have energy on my Toxapex, which is the most important thing. So we have some play, but we all know Primeape with energy and with shields is pretty scary. So let's see what they do. Unlikely to go close combat. If they do, I have a little bit better options in the back. I think I just let this go because, again, I can't just like have this 2-shield Primeape just steamroll me. I just need to land the brine to do some meaningful damage. They double shield, which is really nice. I have no idea what they have in the back, but at this point, I'm just going to shield everything. And hopefully it's not too bad. They actually went for the close combat, which is kind of crazy. And then they end up catching on a Mandibuzz. Ooh, that's not ideal. But at the end of the day, me not being debuffed here is actually not the worst. I do have to shield a potential Aerial Ace, unfortunately. But yeah, I think... Do I go for both Superpower? I probably should have gone for the other one. I don't know. Yeah, let's see how this goes. They have a little bit of energy here. And I know they have still... Yeah. I think what I was worried about is the Primeape. Because the one Superpower is not enough, so I had to go for both. But the Mandibuzz in the back was pretty rough for me, despite the positive lead, right? I think there's could have been some different plays. Maybe shielding the Sludge Wave on my Guzzlord was probably the better play. That's definitely not a hard counter matchup, and one that I probably should have won, honestly, if I'm being brutally critical of how I played that. But that's fine. You know, things like that happen. Just play better than I did. Morepeko lead, not a great one, but again, Guzzlord can flip a lot of situations, and you get a lot of value back here too against Morepeko. I'm maybe to get maybe even both shields, which is quite nice if that's the case. Yeah, we get both shields back. We get both shields back, and we flip switch, and we almost take out the Morepeko. The Guzzlord almost took out 2 Pokemon by itself and took out 2 of their shields for the cost of 1 shield and one Guzzlord. That's pretty good value in my opinion. We're going to have to shield this potential Psychic Fangs in case they have like a Gastrodon back. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible as we've seen before. Ends up being a Mantine, and that's totally fine with me because now we're in a pretty good spot, I'd say. Let's see how we play this out. I need to land a Sludge Wave for sure, and I think I should be good because the Morepeko's probably not going to get to move. I'm going to charge up to 100 energy because I don't really want the Morepeko to be able to farm too much off of me. We did take it out with the Sludge Wave, and then, yeah, they had to go Aura Wheel here. and I should be able to get to a move before they get to one. Yeah, I have the move banked. And we finish off with Morepeko. Yeah, so again, bad leads, no problem. A lot of teams just don't have great answers to the Guzzlord Safe Swap. I believe this is our last battle, and another Air Slash Mandibuzz. So far, I think we're 3-1 this set, 5-0 the first one. So again, very reliable team in my opinion. And the meta's pretty small, so it's not too hard to play around. Azuma's pretty bad into this team as well. You have coverage on pretty much everything. Guzzlord with Sludge Bomb actually makes it a pretty solid matchup. Never run Dark charge attacks here. There's really no reason to. You want to run Dragon Claw and Sludge Bomb. There's really no reason to run Brutal Swing and Crunch. I feel like there's nothing you could really throw it at that you couldn't have covered better with Dragon Claw or Sludge Bomb. Dragon Claw and Sludge Bomb. Dragon Claw is pretty much neutral against everything except fairies, and then you have the Sludge Bomb for that, right? So you just give up too much coverage by running a Dark move. You either give up coverage against fairies or you give up coverage against darks. Either way, you just want to run Dragon Claw. It's a better move in general too, a lot of times than the dark moves when you can throw it. All right, so like I said, when you swap against a Annihilape, you can grab a shield off them, which is quite nice. All right, and I'll say the Vine Whip down. Okay, and they have their own chest on the back. I'm gonna go for the superpower. And they still have the Mandibuzz. Okay, I go for the swap here. And then they come in Mandibuzz. Ooh, they go for the farm down? No, I get this move. Okay, yeah, that's really good. I think I win this. Is it possible I lose this? I don't think so. Yeah, we're really far ahead at this point. I could let this move go, because even with Superpower, I survive it. I get to mine. They actually have Thunder Punch, which is interesting. I'm not really sure what that fully covers that Frenzy Plant wouldn't, but Mandibuzz a little bit better, I guess. They don't debuff. I don't know. I personally like the Frenzy Plant a lot more for that neutral damage. All right, so we go 3-2. Oh, I think I messed up one of the gameplay, and I got hard counter in the other one with the Brionne and Buzzwole. But that's going to be the video. Hopefully the battles go well for you all too in Scroll Cup. I'm going to mess around with some other Scroll Cup team. I'm not really sure if I'm going to drop another team or not, but I have a team in mind that's a little bit on the more toxic end, but I'll let you know. If you don't see a video from me in the next couple of days, then it probably didn't work or I ran out of time. But definitely be on the lookout for a Master League video for those that have the resources. That's going to be a good one as well. So give this team a shot if you have the time to, and let me know how it goes. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.